love to unmute yourself and to share your story. We are just so blessed to have you here.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Yeah, I'm very honored to be asked to speak at your team meeting here. And yeah, I've been with Isogenics for five and a half years now. I started Isogenics in the spring of 2015. I had reached my highest weight at 288 pounds. Um, I was just I was just approaching 41 years old, and I thought that's what life was. I thought it was living in my oversized clothes, tired, out of energy, no enthusiasm for life, just I was a worn out mom. But then things turned really quickly for me. All of a sudden, it was like a perfect storm kind of happened. I ended up being diagnosed with sleep apnea. It was allergy season, and I probably recently put on an additional 20 pounds. So um, I was falling apart, and I literally was living with one foot in the grave. At 40, almost 41 years old, I had three young teenage daughters, two twins that were just approaching 13, and then almost 15-year-old. And I built this beautiful life with my husband. We had a nice house, we had great jobs, we had everything. But I had worried about everything up to that point except for myself. And I'd let myself get to the point where I didn't know how to get myself out of it. Eating healthy wasn't working for me, exercise wasn't working for me. And I was just like, you know what? This is just the way I'm supposed to be. I had no idea what life really could be. So I was introduced to Isogenics by my cousin, who is about 6 months younger than me, and she said, "Started this program. It's really easy. You should give it a try." So I gave it a try. I went all in. I followed it to the T. She kept it really simple for me. She said, "You're going to have your 2 shakes, your 2 snacks, and a healthy meal." And I thought, that's a lot of food, and that seems really easy. So I got started right away. I started to feel results pretty quickly. I dropped weight really quickly. I was able to throw out my sleep apnea machine about 2 months into Isogenics, and I was down almost 40 pounds within the first 2 months. So the results came really fast, and I was really amazed. And so that really spiked my interest to see what this really was, because I hadn't gotten involved in the communities too much up to that point. So then I started realizing there was this 100-pound club, and there was the ice body, and there was my own team had a group, and I got involved. I enthralled myself into all of it, because once I started to see the energy of these people who were there and just waiting for someone else to join them, once I got involved, I realized that this was definitely something special. And like 40 pounds, 50 pounds, I could have been okay with that. But then when I realized Isogenics had a 100-pound club, I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for the 100-pound club. So I think it was about October, and I was down almost 60 pounds. And I was feeling good. I was sleeping better. I had way better energy. I felt better. Things fit me better. But then I thought, could I actually lose 100 pounds? Like, I'd never started this journey, even with a number in mind. I just needed to improve my health. And when I realized there was a 100-pound club, uh, and there was lots of people in the club from all different sizes, shapes, ages, you name it, I thought I could go for 100 pounds. So I enrolled in my first IsoBody challenge, because I thought, I love these products, and if I'm using these products, I want $200 back to spend on however I want to spend it. So if you're not familiar with the IsoBody challenge, it's a 16-week challenge. So I signed up for it. I downloaded my pictures onto my account, so no one else saw them except for me, and they're there on my account. And then after the 16 weeks, I downloaded my after photos, and I had really good results. I had reached my 100-pound goal within that first challenge that I did. So I'd lost 40 pounds and another 40 pounds in the 16 weeks. I had said in October that I wanted to do a reverse resolution. And by January 1st, I wanted to be 100 pounds total lost. I actually reached it by December 17th. So within my first 7 months, I'd lost over 100 pounds and about 136 inches. and was a new person, able to, not only walk distance, but run distance, able to, not need an afternoon nap anymore, wanting to be better and do better and striving for better, where I never in my previous years had that enthusiasm for life. And so I found a new love and a new desire to do better and feel better for myself. And yeah, being continue to do the Ice Buddy challenges and get my $200 coupon every 16 weeks, continue to do my essays. And I guess I was about 7 challenges in. They awarded me honorable mention. So they gave me $1,000 cash and free tickets to some of the major events at the time. And then it was, I guess it was about challenge number 9. I was awarded one of the top 5 in a judging period. So judging period is the 16 weeks. And there's 3 judging periods throughout the year. So I was awarded one out of, I think the number was like 20,000 people. I was one out of 5 of us that were awarded, and I was awarded 3 all expense paid trips, $3,000 cash, and yeah, photo shoot and video shoot. And I was the last group of North American challenges. So they've split us now. Now there's a Canadian grouping and a US grouping. So they separated us. I was the last North American grouping. So there are 5 of us. 3 of us were Canadians and 2 were from the US. And then the 15 of us, after as the year went through, there was 15 in total, and the 15 of us got up on stage at our biggest event in front of 6,000 people and told our stories and showed our pictures, and yeah, had all kinds of fun with photo shoots and extra training and things like that. So it was a ride of a lifetime. And again, I'm just so grateful every day for my health and just all the extra that have come with it. Because I wanted to be better and strive for better, and I didn't need to be that worn out mom that didn't care about herself anymore. I needed to show my daughters how important it is to take care of yourself and your health. And so yeah, and then my husband followed in my footsteps. He saw that I'd lost 100 pounds, and he's like, okay, I got to try these products because I've been trying to lose 30 and I think I've put 30 on. And so give me those products. So I said, you can have the shakes, but you need to do the challenges too. So I said, if you're going to be drinking 2 shakes a day and cleansing, I want you doing the challenges so we can get our $200 product coupon. So yeah, he got started right away, and yeah, he was awarded honorable mention, and then the next following judging period, he was awarded Ice Body in Canada for 2020. So he had lost a total of 80 pounds. Again, started only with 30, thinking he needed to lose, and ended up losing 80 pounds. And yeah, went to Montreal. Was the last kind of time we traveled. So he was in Montreal at the Canadian Celebration doing photo shoots, all expense paid trips. Extra cash and extra swag. So yeah, it's been a pretty impressive couple of years for us. And yeah, again, nothing will ever pay or ever change our health. Like you said, we get out and we wake up automatically in the morning without alarm clocks. Again, not something I'd ever done previous to Isogenics. And we're up early. We're up like 6 o'clock is almost sleep in for us. So, and now we have so much energy that we love to go to the gym. We love to go for walks. It has really changed our lives, and it's been a huge ripple effect on our family, as well as my family's business. I've changed, and I've strived for bigger and better. I don't put things aside anymore and wait for them to happen. I do them before they come due. And so yeah, everything is thriving in our lives right now. And so are our daughters. We have 3 beautiful daughters that are now young adults. And yeah, they see our entrepreneurship with Isogenics and earning an income on the side. And they're all striving to earn extra and do extra. And yeah, they all set goals, and yeah, it's a much different life than where we were headed 5 years ago.
Julie, your story is just, I don't know about you guys, but I am just sitting like my cheeks feel like they're gonna explode. Like my jaw hurts just I'm been like, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Like the whole time I'm like, I'm talking to you, but I have myself on mute. But I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. I would love for you to just, can you take a moment to dive into what it did for Murray? Because he didn't want to start when you
No,
started. In
no.
fact, he was against it, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was pretty quiet about it. And I didn't really ask him. I knew I needed something. I had researched many things before I started, and I literally was like, okay, there's this diet, this diet, this diet, this diet. Like, okay, which one? And I priced them all out, and I got the details of all of them and what they required, and what was there any kind of maintenance to them. And I'd really done some research because what I didn't know what to do anymore for myself. I really was sick.
yeah,
Couldn't walk, couldn't sleep,
yeah.
couldn't function at all. And so, yeah. And then so for my cousin to call me up, kind of right in the means of all of that happening, and say like, I'm here. I want to help you. I had her, so I clung to her,
Yeah.
and I said, you know what, this box is arriving. I'm going to give it a try. And he's like, oh, here, like, oh,
Yeah.
here we go again. But he was pretty silent about it. Um, but a very big skeptic because he'd seen me start programs.
Because wasn't he like sitting in the, he wasn't he, I remember his story was like he was sitting in the garage drinking with the boys, wasn't he? Like he had his chairs out in the garage, unless I'm getting another story mixed up. But didn't he have his barbecue and beers in the garage?
Yeah,
And
yeah, he was, I mean, he had an old car, and yeah, he'd sit in the garage, and it was, part of the thing. They drink beer, and then they pull out a barbecue, and yeah, I just let him go about his way. And yeah, he was buying protein powder and making shakes every day from somewhere else.
yeah,
And yeah, he literally watched me lose 100 pounds when he thought he could lose about 30, but he was a big guy, so he needed to eat big, and this cleansing and these shakes were not for him. And then yeah, December came, and he still had the 30 pounds, and I had lost 100 pounds, and he thought, okay, like, people are noticing my wife, and I either need to get with her, or we're going to grow apart. Like, it was really at that point, because I had improved myself, and I had a new self-confidence that he had never seen before.
yeah.
And he thought, I need to join her on this, or I'm going to get left behind. And I know how involved she is in all these communities, and now she's helping other people. Like, I need to check this out. And so yeah, he did. Yeah, he did go in. He says, I want to start drinking your shakes. And I said, well, then you're going to drink my shakes. You're going to do the Ice Body Challenge, and you're going to get involved in the Ice Body Challenge group, and you're going to get involved in my team group. And we're going to we had a sip and sample almost every month for years in our house. And so he watched guys come in and be like, like, oh, there's the rock star Julie. And he'd be like, oh, like, I need to get, I need to get,
Well,
and yeah, and being at the events, and the energy was so positive for him in such a negative environment in his work.
yeah.
Um, to see all these beautiful people that with all this energy and all this love and all this want to help and want to be your friend, was that side of it was huge for him, for sure.
Well,
And
I
yeah.
remember he was getting choked up on stage. And
Mhm.
I started to cry because he was crying, because I
Yeah.
can't stand it when guys cry. Like, I mean, not that I can't stand it, it's just I cry when they cry. And he started to get emotional. Like, do you want to talk about that for a minute? Because the thing is that isogenics, and we do talk about this at conferences, isogenics is very heavy female concentrated.
Mhm.
But for somebody who is a man who may be watching this recording and hasn't tried isogenics, or there's wives on this recording right now, or wives that are going to be watching this recording, and their husbands haven't yet gotten to that point yet, what would you say about what this did for Murray on a deeper level than just physique? And
Well, I said the community is huge for him, because I can't stress enough how toxic his 9 to 5 or 6 to 6 job is. It's negative. It's life sucking. It's, all kinds of things. And yeah, eventually we are very close to kind of semi-retiring him any day now. So that's important. That's been my goal as soon as I saw that there was an income stream to this.
Yeah.
But for him to detach himself and see another way of life, another positive, like want to hang out with your family, want to hang out with your friends, want to strive to be healthy, want to help others, was so important for both of us, but really for him. Like he at events, he lights up. Like, we go to events just for his mental health more than anything. Like I go for all the training and stuff because I kind of run the business, and I mean he does do prospecting and stuff, but I kind of take over the business and the coaching side of it.
Yeah.
But those, and yeah, we miss the events, and we we miss our Isogenics family.
Totally.
I was so grateful that we got to go to Montreal in March, because it could have been even longer if we hadn't done that trip, right? So, but he has a guys called Isa Guys now, which is a group of about, I think they're almost 1,000 guys right now. So they're guys that don't necessarily, they don't want to be involved in the group because the group's mostly women. Like my team, there's a lot of men, but the ones that are active in the group are women. So he is in this, him and another fellow started this ISA guys group, and it's for guys that are interested in isogenics or are doing isogenics. And they do guy stuff in there. There's no women. There's no women in that group. So I can just imagine, but it's what they need, and it's how they support each other. It's different than how women support each other, right?
Yeah.
And so,
like, what's the age group in that group? Is it generally like an older age demographic, or is it like a start your life kind of?
No, it would be a little older than start your life. I mean, it is definitely a wide range, but I would think a majority of them are in their late 40s to early 60s, probably.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool, because like Start Your Life has a pretty good sort of even keel for men and women. I think like there's a lot of like couples,
Yeah.
so usually there's a lot of balance there, but it's been really hard to find an isogenics group, because I've got now two older guys that are on our team. I shouldn't say older, but older than me, who are outside the Start Your Life group, who we would really love to plug in. And I think ISA Guys is on Facebook, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they just request to join, I don't think they even have much settings in there. Like they're not even required an isogenics number or anything.
Right.
But if they're interested in isogenics and they want to be part of that group, then definitely.
Perfect. I'm going to suggest that, because I do have two guys that are in our challenge right now that I would really love to plug them in. That's not a very heavy female group, because some of our female groups we're talking about hormone balancing, and they're like, like I don't want to talk about it. So, Julie, like so far, I just would love to, first of all, thank you for your incredible story. Is there any questions that you guys have before we dive into the second part of this? Do you guys have any questions for Julie, or do you want to ask Julie anything?
I'll ask one question. It's a beautiful story, Julie, by the way. My name's Sarah. So nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. My question is more so like, I was actually tearing up for the first time,
it takes a lot for me to tear up. And hearing your story, I was sitting here thinking about my husband, and, he's at this place, like I married him and he was 152 pounds, and now he's like 100 pounds more than that. And I just am thinking about it, and I was like, he had no motivation whatsoever to do any of this, like really skeptical about it, doesn't even want to look at it at this point. And I don't have a transformation story to say I've lost 100 pounds, but would you have any kind of advice for like, just encouraging him? How would you encourage your husband if you were to go back and do it again? Like, did you talk to him about it? Did you throw down any hints, or? Could
Well,
you
I
speak to
said
that at all?
I continue to support him buying his, buying his protein from wherever. He loved the gym
Shoot,
before I started Isogenic.
that is.
And he always, his concept was you got to eat big to be big. But then, when he started to realize that there was other men out there that were losing their bellies and starting to feel confident about being in the gym without much of a shirt on, or going to the beach without much of a shirt on, he's like, you know what, I should probably give this stuff a try, because whatever I'm doing is not working for me. And so, yeah, I mean, definitely his story is based on, he saw his, he says my wife was getting hot and I needed to catch up, because I can't I can't have my other men looking at my, like, that was never an issue in our relationship. Like, I was heavy. I dieted when I was 12 years old. Like, I've always been heavy. And never felt really confident in myself and my body. And so for all of a sudden him, we've been married 25 years this next August, and for him to look at me and go, wow, like, where did this confidence and this new love for life come from? It's contagious and I need to catch it.
That's amazing. I love that. That's so inspiring. I think I'm just going to keep on that track, and maybe I'll try to connect at some point. That's really amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Does anybody else have any questions for Julie, or anything they want to talk to Julie about before we, I'm going to ask her a question myself, but I want to open it up to you guys. Abby or Rachel, do you want to ask anything? Are you guys good? Yeah. Okay. So Julie, I would love for you to share how you have taken your recipes and really gotten into that, because that's really something that you have been, you've really gotten to coach on and really developed, and that's sort of become part of your flavor. Like how everyone sort of becomes sort of something in their coaching, like it sort of becomes part of who they are. Like we talk a lot about authenticity on our team and about becoming your authentic self. And as a lot of the team that's on this call right now and the ones that are at this conference tonight and they really wanted to be here, they're going to be watching this recording because they were so excited that you were coming on. Like we used your Isobody segment on our Super Saturday clip. And everyone's like, wow, she's going to be the guest speaker. Like they were so excited to watch the recording for tonight. And so I'm asking this question on behalf of the team, because a lot of the questions that are coming up on the 16-week challenge that we have right now is, how do I take these ingredients and turn it into this? And how do I take these meals that are so heavy laden with these things and sub them for that? And how can I create these healthier meal options for my family that are so used to eating a certain way? Like if I change the recipe, are they going to eat it? And like, how would you say, to answer that question for that particular person, how would you sort of direct that?
Well, I think my biggest thing is that I've just learned what substitutes well. And yeah, I mean, I definitely have put in a lot of time and research into it over the years. Like there was things in our house. My cupboards and my fridge look completely different than they did 5.5 years ago. You don't find things in my cupboards that like I laugh because my kids will be like, do you remember when we used to eat Cheese Whiz? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's like, I forget, right? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we did eat that. But now I make my own cheese sauce, right? And so it's not necessarily cheese sauce that they spread on the bread, but it's a cheese sauce that they would put on their broccoli or cauliflower or whatever. Or if I make a cheese dip of some type, or cheese for nacho, like I make, you name it, I can make it healthy version.
Wow.
Sometimes they turn their nose up the first time, and the second time they're like, oh, that was really good this time, Mom. And maybe I tweak things a little different, or I use a little more garlic powder, or a little, so You know, like I don't use white sugar anymore in my house. I use either, I use stevia. Stevia is my go-to. And I've tried other sugars, but just seems to be the right texture. I buy it in the big bags. It's natural. Um, I have really learned how to dial into what my body needs and how it responds. So my body doesn't respond well to sugars, and so I really am careful with my sugars now. You know, I was borderline diabetic when I started, and now I've gone completely opposite. I'm hypoglycemic now, or borderline hypoglycemic.
Wow.
So I went from one spectrum to the other, and definitely had some struggles or some conflict that I had to work through at times over the last 5 years. And you know, like things like oil, I don't use my go-to oil now is coconut oil. I buy the big tub from Costco, and it's hard, and I melt it if it needs to go in a recipe that it mixes well in. And you know, like, yeah, I mean, I had, you know, all my spices have changed. I use a lot of Mrs. Dash and a lot of low sodium. I love the Bragg's, like the Bragg's soy sauce and the Bragg's nutritional yeast. Like, there's tons of hacks out there, and really Google is your best friend, because if you like, I do a cooking live show on our team once a week. And so I run out of recipes really quickly, and especially if the people have, you know, been involved and are, you know, 30 days after 30 days, and now they've seen like 20 cooking lives with Julie. Like, I'm not sure what other ideas to come up with. And so I put it out there and say, you challenge me, because I love a challenge. And again, that's something that came with Isogenics, because I didn't care for challenges. I stayed away from any kind of challenge in life at all, really. I took the easy road, and now I love challenges. So I put it out there to my group that, is there something that you would love to eat, but you're not sure how to make healthy? Give it to me, and I will come up with an idea. So I said this last one, we had a cauliflower nachos. So the chips were roasted, really thinly roasted cauliflower. And then, yeah, I put it like shredded chicken, I think, on it. I totally, it was a couple weeks ago, but yeah, like everything down to like, yeah, I made that like a cheese sauce instead of a cheese. Or I went out and I, you know, the Tex-Mex cheese with the low fat is a great option, but you know, it's all about portion control too. So, you know, like when we think we're going to sit down and eat nachos, you know, we think we're going to sit down and eat nachos, but we really need to sit down and eat nachos about this big, right? Like, so it's portion control, and it's teaching that to people as well. And yeah, and you know, like there's hacks for everything. There's hacks, you know, you like pasta, well, there's brown rice pasta, which is a way better choice. You know, there's making spiral zucchini for pasta. Like, those are going to curb your cravings for whatever you want. So if you have a craving for pasta, Google healthy pasta, and you'll come up with vegetable pasta or brown rice pasta. And you just want to watch your portions, right? So yeah, like again, our pasta plates, probably before we knew what a proper serving of pasta plate was, probably a plate or a bowl of pasta. But really, a serving of pasta is like your fist, right? So it's
Keeping your stomach down and allow.
I said Google. I Google everything, and yeah, I did go completely vegan, gluten free for the last year and a bit now, just because I wanted another challenge for no other reason, really. And then then I watched some of the, you know, the gory movies about meat and stuff like that, and then I was like, I really want to, but you know, I got to a point where I starting to not really feel great eating that way. And so now I'm reintroducing meat back into my diet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally relate. I've
done it all, and I've tried it all. I've done, you know, high fat, low fat, high carbs, low carbs, high protein, low carbs. And, you know, you do have to try different things to work with your body. And, you know, like I said, I went from pre-diabetic to hypoglycemic and lots of in-betweens, where I was like, oh my gosh, like what did I just eat? Because now I need to like lie down. I'm so dizzy, or now I'm so hungry, I can't starve myself. That's my body reacting to the insulin and the sugars in foods, right? And so there's certain things that I don't feel good eating, and I fuel myself for fuel. I don't fuel myself because, like if I'm craving something, then something's not right in my system and I need to look at what's causing that. Or if I, overeat, why did I just overeat? Well, because I was tired or I was stressed and I need, it's
really good is actually
a lifestyle, right? So it's learning what works. Yeah.
Yeah. Asking yourself those questions. That's something that I've really forgotten about, actually. Just even myself, like just going through injury, going through stress, going through, all these added different types of things. But when I started Isogenics, I remember the first year I started Isogenics, I would always ask myself, why am I wanting to go and have that? Why am I adding an extra scoop, or why am I going to take more? Do I need it? Am I actually hungry? Or am I taking that because I'm upset? Am I taking that because I'm angry? Am I going for food because I'm bored? That was a big thing for me. I'm bored. And so I would want to crunch on something. And so I would always have to check with myself, and just having you reiterate that is so great for people that are going to be watching this recording or that are listening in, because checking with yourself is so important. And another thing that I found even just this last week is that when you're laying down or you're eating, like when you're reclining and you're laying down, you will eat more. And then if you stand up, it's like you are so full. Have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried, like, if you're eating and you're like laying down on the couch or something and you're like eating chips or you're eating your meal or something like that? Like, because my neck has been injured or my spine has been injured, I had to adjust to being in a laying down position. And then I was saying to Abby today, I was like, Abby, having you stand up, you're like, we decided to go for a walk. Like we ate and then we decided to go for a walk. So I stood up and I was like, oh, I am so full right now. And it's just the position of your stomach even. So like when people are eating, instead of, sometimes people lay down on the couch and they grab snacks and they're just laying out and they're cramming food in their mouth and they're watching television. They're not aware of what they're doing. They're not aware of their conscious eating because they're watching the screen. So eating in the dark, that was another thing. Eating while they're laying down, eating without your feelings, like they're all just things to check in on. And I think that's so cool that you mentioned that, Julie, is just being conscious, like being aware of your surroundings and aware of your feelings and aware of your ingredients. I think that's so awesome. So, well, I want to thank you so much for jumping on tonight. I think we're going to wrap up the team call because we're almost getting to almost an hour.
I took up the night.
No, I think that is amazingly awesome. And I'm just so grateful because, we really honor you. Like Sarah was in tears and I was in tears the first time I saw your story and heard Murray's story. And, we just really feel so much love for you and your husband. And we're just so grateful for the time that you took to jump on. And I'm so glad that you had an incredible weekend to rest and recoup. I know how much you serve your community and the Isogenics family, and we're just so grateful for you. So thank you so much for your time. And you guys, if you want to reach out to Julie, I'm sure she would be happy to have any questions in the future, and follow her on Instagram. She's got great recipes, or Facebook, and yeah, we're just so grateful for you. And say hi to Murray for us.
Well, thank you. He excited to hear that I was chatting tonight. So if you ever want him to come on, he'd be happy to as well. So.
Yeah, and if I end up getting that sailboat, you guys, I will be taking you out for a cruise this summer.
That sounds awesome. Okay. Thank you. Thanks
Absolutely.
again.
You guys have a great evening. We'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.